Everyone. So, according to PW Insider, JD McDonough is expected to be cleared to return later in March. So, that's obviously we're in March right now. So, this is sometime soon. Now, remember, JD McDonough had that fantastic match, but he ended up getting injured when he flipped outside the ring, and it was a terrible look. When he hit the announce table, like everybody was like, "Oh my god!" It was crazy. But he still, despite all those injuries, continued to wrestle the match, gained, I think, the utmost respect from all the WWE universe, and it's one of those things that I hope WWE can utilize it, as bad of a thing as it was. I hope they can now utilize it to really give him an even bigger boost, because I think that moment in itself, a lot of fans, their reaction to it was like, this guy is, he had put on a great match despite the injuries. He fought through the injuries when he had every reason to just say, look, man, I'm hurt. I can't keep going. And he continued to do it. So later this March, we're getting a return from JD McDonough, and I would love to see it. Now, obviously, what's going on with the Judgment Day, this is going to be interesting, right? Because you know Finn Balor, he seems to be on his way out. JD McDonough is kind of the closest guy in there to him, so we will see. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So we're reading here from Wrestling Inc. WWE fans can still purchase a spot to have lunch with John Cena over WrestleMania weekend, but according to new reports, the leader of the Cena Nation won't be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award during the event. According to Fightful, earlier reports circulating online Tuesday about Cena receiving the award during an on location lunch were inaccurate, though the event itself is still happening. PW Insider reported that a WWE source also confirmed to them that Cena won't be receiving an award. PWI reported that they received material for the on location listing with both the lunch and the award, and said it appeared that an incorrect version of promotional material was also issued to some fans. On location handles special events for WWE and other brands. According to PWI, the event will take place on April 18th, the Friday before night one of WrestleMania. The lunch, which is set to take place at a five-star restaurant on the Las Vegas Strip, will be limited to 20 fans, and the price was reportedly listed at $25,000 per person. So, that's the truth, right? And I'm kind of happy we waited a couple days to actually get to this video, because we had it in, the backlog to do, because the initial report was that he was getting this award. And I was like, what the hell is going on with this? How are they going to tie this in with, the storyline we're seeing? But I guess he's actually not getting this Lifetime Achievement Award. So I think it's important to make sure that's reported correctly. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So Finn Balor sent a message to Dominic Mysterio after Dominic cost him his match against Braun Breaker. He just tweeted out a picture of Dom screwing him over and little snake emoji. Now, Dom obviously didn't mean to do it. I also don't think it's really fair for Finn to be all that mad at Dominic Mysterio, because Finn was getting his butt kicked for large portions of the match to begin with, and was when Dom got involved. But clearly, WWE has been setting this up, right? A break between these two. And it's pretty clear that Finn Balor doesn't actually understand that he doesn't really have any power right now. There's really nobody that's supporting him over Dominic Mysterio in that Judgment Day. Maybe JD McDonough coming back could change things, but clearly there's big issues, and there have been for quite some time, about who's in charge of the Judgment Day, and Finn Balor just doesn't really have a massive support group within. I'm a little bit worried that if you continue to take people out of the Judgment Day as they are, it's going to be a lot less kind of formidable of a faction. Now, maybe you could lose JD and Finn, or just Finn, and have it still be, a big deal. Obviously, with Liv and Raquel in there, you have championships, right? And so maybe you give Dom a little bit more of a push. I love Carlito being a part of it, but we will see what ends up happening. But clearly, this is what they're going to be going with, right? This is the narrative. Now, if it leads to Finn leaving or whatever, that's still up in the air. But clearly, this is what he thinks fit. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So John Cena posted a cryptic post after his promo on Monday Night Raw. So we're reading here from WrestleZone. John Cena's latest social media post has sparked some buzz following his explosive promo on WWE Raw. Cena came to the ring on a March 17th episode of WWE Raw, which marked his first appearance since his heel turn at WWE Elimination Chamber. He addressed the fans and lashed out at them, saying that they had been awful to him for years. Cena stated that he was in an abusive relationship, and he said he was breaking up with the fans. In a post on Instagram, Cena seemingly referenced his promo as he shared a picture from friends. He posted a picture of Ross and Rachel. The picture specifically is interesting as it's from the classic episode where Ross and Rachel argue about whether they were on a break when he cheated on her. Though they split up on the hit NBC show, Ross and Rachel ultimately got back together. It took a few seasons, but they got back together and stayed together. So this is why it's cryptic and it's a little bit interesting, right? Because he's posting this photo and he's looking at it from the standpoint of, or the fans are looking at this from the standpoint of, maybe this means that Cena's hinting that there's a heel turn for a short while, and then he'll go back to being the old John Cena we know and love. So put in the comment section below what you think. Do you think John Cena is, is this basically going to be how it goes? Is Cena going to be heel turn for the whole entire for the whole entire time that he's on the farewell tour, or what will happen? Thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So the Sandman revealed why he hated his time in WWE. Here's what he said. I assume this is like right after SummerSlam, because right before SummerSlam, Johnny Laurinaitis calls me to his office and goes, "You can't drink the beer anymore." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm pissed. I'm like, "Johnny, how do you give me my release?" He's like, "Wait." And I got two raises, or at least one raise out of them, but by asking for my release. But it was up to like 125 to 150,000. But then I find out I got to stop drinking. Next thing I know, Austin's in the ring, the effing main event for SummerSlam. So they're taking the beer away from me, so I can't do it on my entrance. I was freaking pissed. I was hot, and I hated it there, dude. I had no friends. It was soul sucking. It honestly was soul sucking to me. I hated to get on a plane. I hated to go there. I hated to be in the locker room. I couldn't wait to get out of the effing building. So, I think this brings up an interesting kind of point regarding WWE and ECW, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't quite understand that you can't actually you can't actually take the beauty of WCW and apply it to the WWE, because ECW was just its own thing. And this is why when WWE tried it in so many different ways afterwards, that it just never really worked out, because you can't the authenticity of ECW can't be recreated. And a lot of the stuff that they were doing on ECW, you probably can't even do on WWE TV, right? Like ECW was, as much as we talk about kind of the stepping over the line and, basically doing whatever they want in the WWE, right, during the Attitude Era. ECW was that times 1,000, right? And there's simply no question about that, right? They are that times 1,000. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So Dave Meltzer predicted this Raw match is potentially going to be at WrestleMania. Here's what he said. Yesterday's edition, we're reading from Wrestling Inc. Yesterday's edition of WWE Raw featured plenty of Penta, with the Luchador picking up a win over Ludwig Kaiser and cutting a promo before later confronting WWE Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker in the ring to close the show. According to Dave Meltzer on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, that face-off was likely leading to a match at WWE WrestleMania 41 next month. Meltzer didn't indicate that he heard anything regarding the match, but rather seemed to be inferring based on timing, with Penta's brother Rey Fenix set to join the WWE roster imminently. The teased match against Breaker seems to indicate the two won't enter the tag team division right away, or at least they won't do so exclusively. After spending much of 2024 on the shelf, Penta left AEW and signed with WWE earlier this year, with his brother now on the way as well. Penta is so far undefeated in one-on-one action, but fell short in a triple threat against Kaiser last month. So this would be interesting if we do actually get to see, this match, right? We do. Um, I think it's good. I think people are behind Penta. I think people are behind Braun Breaker. And one of the things I love about Penta is that he delivers really good matches. That is one of the big things, is that if you can go out there and deliver fantastic matches, you're perfect for this mid card spot. I think to be in the main event, you got to have the promos and the matches as well. Penta, I think, is also starting to give pretty good promos that the audience is, behind. But the the bottom line is, for the mid card, if you could deliver the kind of matches Penta's delivering, you could be there till the end of days. It is so, so good what Penta has been doing. So put in the comment section below, do you want to see this match at WrestleMania? I think it's kind of two, baby faces that are going head to head. Could there be some kind of heel turn? What are they doing with the tag team division with Penta and Rey Fenix? So many things. for us to consider, and I can't wait to see what they do. So thank you all for watching. Right, everyone. So Bianca Belair had this to say after Rhea Ripley tried to get herself into the WrestleMania match between her and Io Sky. She said this. He said it. I didn't. Childish. Someone please explain to her how a contract works. Or does someone else want to come out next week, sign a contract that doesn't have their name on it, and make it a fatal four way while we're at it? Stay out of my business. So this is clearly pushing further, right? This idea of a Bianca versus Rhea Ripley feud after WrestleMania. It looks like that's the way they're going. Obviously, in this case, I'm not sure there's really any argument for Rhea Ripley to be, in this match besides just her kind of forcing her way in and pissing everybody off. She lost to Io Sky fair and square, and just because she gave her that opportunity, she had previously screwed over Io Sky, right? Otherwise, Io might have been in it anyways and still had a chance, to beat her. So I will say that Rhea Ripley did this to herself in that sense, but they're clearly building this feud between those two. I would love to see a feud between those two. I think the fans, their reaction to it has certainly been good, but we'll see what WWE decides to do if they actually make this a triple threat, if she's involved in some other way, what way is this? And I think that will be telling. We'll get a few signals about how this match is going to go depending on the build up to this thing over the next few weeks. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Right, everyone. So Matt Riddle talked about the potential of Vince McMahon starting his own company and would he work there. Here's what he said. Through the grapevine, I've heard Vince might have another company. I'm interested in anybody, bro. I'm an independent contractor. Unlike when I was under contract with WWE, I can actually work anywhere and wherever I want, when I want, for how much money I want. So there's two things here. The first is obviously, this depends. What does he mean when he says heard through the grapevine, right? Because we did articles. We reported on all the articles that were talking about Vince potentially doing another company, and then there was Fox involved and all that stuff, and then those were the response to it was no, this isn't a thing. So if that's what he's talking about, then probably not going to be the case, right? That he's starting another company. Now, if he's heard something else from other people, that's a different story. But I thought this was worth doing as a video in its entirety, is because this is really the difference, right, between whether Vince could start something or not. The problem with wrestling, right? And Vince trying to start another company is that you need wrestlers, you need people to do production. There are so many things that you need to have that you can't just get with money. Sure, these people are going to have to pay him, right? So having the money he has is going to be helpful. But if people don't want to work for you, then you're not going to be able to get them. And that was to me the big hold up. So after all the legal stuff is done, however all that, comes down and what is found, once that's all done, he's still going to have to get wrestlers that want to wrestle under him. He's still going to have to get people who are going to work, in the company if he even wanted to start it. And this is one of the first people I've heard say, I would be open to working for a Vince McMahon company. Now, I don't know if he's going to do it. I have no inside sources on that, only from what we're reading. But the fact that you have a wrestler like Matt Riddle saying, listen, I would be open to going there, that tells you that in the independent scene and maybe people working in AEW and TNA and other places, people who maybe feel like they're not kind of getting the pushes they want, they're probably going to be open to actually working in a Vince McMahon run, competitor if it ended up doing that. Now, do I think he'll do it? I don't know. My guess would be that there's a level to Vince here in the sense that he knows he built WWE. Would he want to go against his own company that he built? I don't know if that's the case. He has money. He could just live his life doing what he's doing now instead. But we will see. But this is one of the first wrestlers I've heard say I would be open to doing it. And if you get a lot of wrestlers saying that, I think this company actually becomes something that other corporations like a Fox or whatever would be interested in investing in and partnering with, because that it's going to drive ratings at least for a short period of time. So thank you all for watching.